Bringing the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass, always taking names and kicking candy ass, live on YouTube, live on Ram Nation Radio. Miranda's going to send that YouTube link to Facebook because she's OG. She hooked me up with this awesome goddamn 3 from Hell poster, so God bless her for that. We've got 3 producers, lovely producers in the studio today. We have my good friend, the legendary Ryan Snyder, coming back to the show after a year's hiatus. Ryan, how are you, my friend?
Yo, man, what's going on? How are you?
Dude, I'm great, man. It's been such a long time since I've had you on the show. Granted, we talk like weekly about horror, and our friendship is basically based on horror. So I was just like, dude, like if there's anybody I want to get back on to talk about the Halloween franchise, it's the one and only Hitman Ryan Snyder. And I was also, the last time I had you on, this is how long ago this was, your wife was actually pregnant, and since then she has given birth, and your kid is now a year old. How crazy is it how fast time flies, right, man?
Yeah, man, I look back on it now. I'm like, it's been a year. It's gone quickly. It seems more like 5 because I'm walking around like a zombie half the time because I'm so tired. But other than that, man, it's great watching her just grow up and learn new things. It's an awesome feeling, I'll tell you that.
Dude, that's surreal. I hope someday I get to feel the same thing because you guys look like you just have the best time in the world. And also, happy 3rd anniversary to you and your wife, Katie. Shout out to you guys. That's just the coolest thing ever. I was just like, yo, October is the best time, man. Ryan had a kid. Ryan's got an anniversary. Ryan's on my show. October is his favorite month because of a certain horror film franchise that we're here to discuss today. And yeah, so dude, I've just been watching super amount of horror this month, and like I've just been having a blast with it. I don't know about you, but like I know you watch like crazy horror too.
Oh, well, I mean, I watch it year round, but October I always ramp it up a little bit.
Dude, same here, man. I've been having a blast with it. And yeah, I can't wait to discuss these with you right now because this is like one of the best horror film franchises of all time. Of course, the Halloween franchise. The last episode we had Ryan on, we actually talked for about a straight hour about just the original. So that goes to show you how much we love that movie. It's Ryan's favorite all-time horror movie. And that's why I figured today I was like, hell, why not just continue from there? And the best way to continue from the original is right at the beginning of more of The Night He Came Home. And I am talking to you people here today about Halloween 2, one of my favorite sequels of all time, probably my favorite of the franchise. I love this goddamn movie. But man, what are your memories with when you first saw this one, and what are your thoughts on this one?
Funny thing is, the first time I saw Halloween 2, it was on USA.
Wow.
When I was probably 10, 11. I was really young.
That's crazy, man. That's super young to see this. I actually saw this pretty young too.
I feel like a lot of people, horror people that are around now, started very early from either like their parents or their relatives, someone close to them usually. That's how, I mean, my uncle got me into horror when I was a kid. So
yeah, he's the one that showed you the original VHS of Halloween. You watched and fell in love with it and all that. And that's so cool, man. That's like an awesome like origin story as to how you fell in love with the whole thing. And like, I don't know, man, like the first time I actually saw Halloween 2, this is actually proof because this is the same tape I used to rent back in the day from Hollywood Video. I don't know how well everyone could see that. It says Hollywood Video on the back.
I remember Hollywood Video.
Yeah, dude, this is back when rental stores were a thing, and I rented this particular one to absolute death, to the point where the cover was like, you know, ripped and destroyed and stuff because it was a rental cover, and I was just like, you know what, screw it, like the cover is just destroyed. It almost does the VHS tape injustice. And man, I gotta tell you, when I first watched this movie, I thought it was like one of the greatest things I've ever watched in my life. Like, and to this day, I love this freaking movie, man. But dude, what are your thoughts on like the setting, cast? Like, give me some of your thoughts on this one.
So I don't know if I like the whole aspect of him being the brother of Laurie, but I know a lot of people like that. Mm-hmm. I'd rather it just be more mysterious. Like in the first one, you don't even know, just he escapes and he goes after, but no one knows why.
Yeah. So you definitely liked the mysterious aspect as to, you know, why is he going after Laurie, as opposed to in this film, they do give the explanation.
Yes. I mean, I don't mind it. I know a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people enjoy the aspect of him being the brother of Laurie, but I like the originals. I like the original better, as you know, but that's another, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like for me, this movie, the thing that always stood out with me, and I also have the Blu-ray, the Universal Blu-ray. I've got to get the Steelbook from Scream Factory. I think you have it.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's awesome, right?
It's awesome. I'm still going through like the features and stuff on it right now.
Dude, that's incredible. I think the cover of that is the greatest cover for that
It's
movie
awesome.
because it's one of the most iconic shots for me in the entire series. But the thing I always said that I felt like that set this one apart from the original, for me at least, was it's a little bit more brutal. It has a little bit more of a violent nature and tone to it than the original does. Like it's basically like the original is a build up to the final 15 minutes where you have the classic stalk and slash with the Shape versus Jamie Lee. Whereas this one has that finale, but in the process of that, he basically breaks into this hospital and murders the entire staff. So it's a little bit different of an animal, but I think that it was actually John Carpenter's decision to up the gore and up the violence. And he directed Second Unit on this movie. And I think he went back and shot a lot of the death scenes and made them more gory. And I forever think that was a brilliant move by John Carpenter because if you try to be atmospheric, if you try to go and follow and just do the exact same thing the original did, I think this movie would have failed. I think it would have fell flat on its goddamn face. But because of all the awesome kills, fun characters, awesome little, claustrophobic setting of this hospital, I think this movie really shines bright in the series for me. And like, I don't know, I think Sam Loomis in this movie, Donald Pleasance is Sam Loomis in this movie, almost perfected playing that character. Like I love some of the lines he has in this, like talking about Sam Hain and it means the Lord of the Dead, and all these awesome lines he has in this. Like I thought he perfected the character of Loomis in this film, and probably because they had him on set for more than just 3 days, like in the original movie. But
It's
I don't
great.
know, man. I just love him in this movie. What do you think of his performance in this?
I love it. As I think Donald Pleasance is one of the best characters in horror history. Like
Yeah,
he's
I
in
go ahead.
one, two, five of them. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. So he's in
Yeah, and a lot of people, I feel like, I love that Jamie Lee gets all the love for the first two movies, and then like Daniel Harris is your lead for 4 or 5. I think without Donald Pleasance, man, I feel like this series wouldn't have the backbone that it does. Like, would you agree with that? Like, I just
Oh,
think his character is
for sure, man. There's no doubt that he's one of the most important, at least in my opinion, one of the most important characters in the series. Because once you get to like H2O and Resurrection, he's not in it.
Mhm.
It just doesn't have that same, at least to me, doesn't have that same Halloween feeling.
Yeah, he's sorely missed in those movies. And like even in the remake where they had someone else, they had Malcolm McDowell play Loomis, it just didn't work for me. I just think like you can't replace Sam Loomis. Like
He was too over the top.
yeah, he was definitely, and he looked at it more. I don't even know what his character was supposed to be in the Halloween 2 2009 movie. Like
He's a goofball in that movie. He's not even. It's not even like Loomis at all. It's just his own crazy character.
yeah, which made no sense because like the thing I always loved about the dynamic of Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis is in these movies we never hear them talk to each other. We never get to see an interaction with those two from previous years, but the chemistry is still there. And it's so amazing that they share so little screen time. But man, like I think they just share the best chemistry. Like I love when he's yelling at Michael and all this stuff. Like I just think it's so good, and like just the fear on Donald Pleasance's face. Like he tells the sheriff, I guess the sheriff that replaces Charles Cyphers in this, he tells him, just tell your men to keep their mouths shut and their eyes open. I love that. Like he's just like, yo, shit is about to break loose in Haddonfield again because we don't know whether or not he's alive or dead. And I don't know. I just love that dynamic in this movie. I think Donald Pleasance just steals this movie, almost from Jamie Lee, who's barely in it, really. I mean, I don't know. I think that's one thing about this movie. I will say that I wish Jamie Lee was in it more. Like, I feel like,
Do you like her wig in it? Do you enjoy Jamie Lee's wig?
dude, her wig is so horrendously bad.
It looks bad.
Yeah. But I will say, I like the side characters in this. I like Jimmy, Lance Guest.
Yeah.
Leo Rossi is Bud. I love the Amazing Grace. Come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie. Like, that's classic, man. He's having a blast with this. And I love the one nurse. He's like, all you ever do is curse. And he's just like, I'm sorry. I guess I just fuck up all the time. Like, I love that stuff, man. Like, it's just fantastic. I really, really enjoy Leo Rossi in this.
Yeah, isn't he just sitting there, just smoking a joint, just sitting in the like the break room, just smoking a joint.
Yeah, like he's like the doctor or I guess the ambulance guy that doesn't give a damn. Like he doesn't
No,
give a crap. He's just like, yo, I know we're on the clock right now, but you want to get naked in a hot tub with me and make out? Like, like I just love that
he's
dynamic.
got the life. He's got the job right there.
Dude, damn right he does. And he's trying to give old Jimbo some relationship advice. He's, it never works with patients. Listen to me. And nurses, they're another story. Like, I love that, man. I just have a good time with his character. I think he's really, really funny in this. But, dude, let's get into some of the kills, man, because this one has actually my favorite kill in the entire series. But what are some of your favorite kills from this one?
My favorite one is Mr. Garrett with the hammer. It's just so... I just love the way he's opening the doors, and all of a sudden he closes the door and he's there, just like, bah, right to the head.
Dude, right? That's and like I thought that effect was done so much better here than in Friday 13th Part 2, which was the same year, where there's a kill where Jason goes with the back and stabs a sheriff in the head. And in this movie, it just ping like right over the head. And I don't know, man. It just seems so surreal, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, that's one of my favorite kills. It's a good one. I wish they would have shown Mrs. Alves dying, but they don't show. They show her body. I wish they would have showed her dying. But
yeah, that scene for me, like when I was a kid, that's an off-screen kill I think done right, because it just like horrified me. I was like, just thinking of the idea that he put this needle in her and let her just bleed out to the point where there's so much blood on and I'm just like, oh my God. Like I remember being a kid, I was like, is there that much blood in the human body? And the answer is probably no, but I don't know, man. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah, the whole floor is just a whole puddle of blood. It's like, do we have that much blood in us?
But I don't care. I'm glad that they amped that up. I really, really love, probably my favorite kill in this movie is Nurse Janet. And she goes down to find Dr. Mixter, and she sees him with a needle in his eye, and she turns him around and she kind of backs up, and like the wall behind her is red. And you just slowly but surely you see the shape appear. You see Michael Myers, half of his face appear. And that's like my favorite kill of the series, because it's everything that Michael Myers is about. It's the creepy atmosphere. It's the creepy build-up tension. It's finding that dead body, taking a step back, going, oh my God, I have to get out of here. But before you can, grabs her, needle to the eye, badass kill. My favorite kill of the series, I would have to say. Like, I think it's so well done. I understand it is taken from the original film. Like, there's a scene where Jamie Lee backs up. It's the blue background and Michael's there. But like, I just love that he executes the kill here. Like, it's so badass in my opinion.
Oh, dude, I just remember that kill is in that movie. But I love that. That's a great. I like the shot when they show her backing up and you can see half of his face there, like the original. But it's still cool.
It's so cool. Like, to me, it's like the shot of this movie. Of course, I love the hot tubs death scene where old Bud and the nurse who get these are our first boobies of the series, I think. I
didn't even know there was boobs in it because, like I said, I saw it on USA, so they don't show that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know there was boobs. Like, I knew she was naked, but they don't show the boobs. And then when I got the actual VHS, I was like, oh shit, there's boobs.
There's actual boobs on this, and if you want to see them in high definition, you can watch this one. But yeah, I love that scene because they're just making out, and Michael slowly but surely just turning up the temperature on them, and I'm just like, oh no, like this is not gonna end well. And of course, he kills Leo Rossi in the background with no sound, which I love. It's kind of comical, and then he walks up to the nurse, and he's just puts his hand on her. And she just goes off on this whole tangent. She's like, want to get breakfast later? And she's biting his hand. Shit, like, I just laugh every time I see it. Like, it's so priceless, man.
Just imagine what his hand tastes like.
Dude, right? Yeah, like, and his hand is all dirty and
she's like sucking on his fingers and shit.
Dude, she's sucking on his thumbs. I'm just like, yo, what the hell? This is the only lady in the world that got to suck Michael Myers' thumb, and she did not live long to tell the tale. And I love, she turns around and you just get that, she screams in terror. And like, I love the double brutality of this kill. Like, he not only is drowning her, she's burning to death at the same time because the temperature in the hot tub is like crazy high. And I don't know, man, that terrifies me personally.
That'd be a shitty way to die, man. Right? It's like drowning and burning at the same time.
Dude, right? Like, I'm just like, the first time I saw that, I was just like, oh my God. And I don't know about you, but I was like, wondered, like, is he burning his hand at all?
He doesn't either. It's crazy. I always thought that too. I'm like, his hand's going in there too, and it's not getting burnt.
Dude, that's because he's the legendary shape, man. That's only Michael Myers can do that and unfazed, no sell it. And like, I just love that kill. I think that's a fantastic one. I really, really love where towards the end of the film where Laurie is out of her room and that one nurse is like, Laurie, wait. And Michael just comes out of nowhere, scalpel to the back and lifts her up. And this is where Jamie Lee is so great. The way she sells it with her eyes is fantastic. Like a lot of movies, they'd have the lead protagonist, the lead heroine, she'd scream there. But in this movie, she just sells it with her eyes. She's just like, you can tell the expression on her face is, holy shit, I am in trouble.
That last 20 minutes when after he kills her and her shoes drop and the music hits and that chase scene, oh, so good.
It's so iconic, and we'll go back there, but like I don't know how you feel about this. For me personally, this is probably my favorite score of the entire series. I love how the synthesizer is added to this. Alan Howarth, of course, he took the Carpenter score and just added like a synthesizer, made it a little bit more up tempo. And for me personally, I've always loved that. I thought that was one of the coolest things about this movie. How did you feel about the score in this one?
No, I do like it. It's a little like the synthesizer, like you said. It's a little. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite.
Would you definitely go with the original one over this?
Yes.
Okay. This is,
and even to be honest, man, the new one, the score in that is awesome as well.
That was Cody Carpenter, right? Cody Carpenter, John Carpenter. Yeah. They did the new score. And you know, it's funny because that new movie, it did the pumpkin back inflating with the new Halloween and the new score. But this one, I really always liked that you have that opening scene where Loomis literally, it's the minutes after he shot Michael, and he sees that the body's gone, and you get that classic opening line, is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treating to death tonight. You don't know what death is. And then, bam, cue that awesome up-tempo synthesized Halloween score, fade to black, fade to the pumpkin opening up with a skull. And that is the most badass horror movie opening for me. Like, every time I see it, I get chills. Like, even on VHS where the sound isn't as cool, like, I don't know, like, every time I've seen this movie, I get chills in that opening. I just think that's a perfect opening. So I've really liked the score in this one. And like I said, man, I just love some of the Loomis lines. Like, I don't know if you remember this line, but there's a line where it's towards the end and Loomis is in the car back with the the other lady who's going to be in the new one again. She's reprising her role. I forget the character's name, but
I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, she's in the car. He's in the car with her, and I think Miss Chambers, something like that. And he
sounds right.
Yeah, he's in the car with her, and he says something along the lines of, Halloween isn't ghosts, goblins, or witches. It's the unconscious mind, because we are all truly afraid of the darkness inside ourselves. And like, for me, when I heard that line, I was like, that's Michael Myers in a nutshell. And that's because darkness, Michael Myers is the unconscious mind. He is the darkness inside ourselves. He is the shape. He is the unstoppable force that resides throughout these movies. And I think without Michael Myers, like, you really don't have a franchise. And we'll talk about the next movie where they tried to go away from Michael Myers. And I did love the next movie too, so don't get me wrong. But man, like, when it comes to a character study, when it comes to an unstoppable force, I think Michael Myers is the best of all time. Like, there never had to be an explanation as to where, as to why, as to who he was related to. I understand that argument. Although I won't lie, I do like that they're added as brother and sister in this. Added a little meat and potatoes for me. But Michael is the unconscious mind, and he is the shape forever. And like, I think in no other movie is he more badass than this movie. He's scarier in the first movie, but I think he's more badass in this movie. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree. He's more relentless, I guess, in the second one. He's going after people a lot more. The first one is more of him kind of stalking and looking and just creeping around and shit.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I don't know, I always wish people would talk about that quote more. Like, you always hear the quotes from the original, but that unconscious mind quote, where what the true meaning of Halloween is, that one always got me as a kid. I was just like, damn, like, this guy has seen it all. Like, he has really seen it all, and he knows Michael Myers better than Michael Myers knows himself. And I just love that. And of course, you lead up to that badass finale in the hospital, which I don't know, man, but I think it's so tension filled, don't you?
Oh, it's probably one of the best endings in the franchise. To be honest.
Totally. I love where Jamie Lee, she goes to the elevator and she's clicking the button trying to get the elevator to go. And Michael, dude, she's slowly but surely, it is taking forever. I remember being a kid and literally getting off my couch and screaming my lungs out. Hit the button harder, get a little bit down faster. Like, I got so animated and invested into this movie because it was really one of the first exposures I'd had to the Halloween series. This was the first one I saw. So I was just so entranced by what was going on. And Michael's getting closer and Laurie gets back into the elevator and she's hitting the door close button and the shape goes right there, pushes and it shuts. And I was just like, oh my God, like that is tension done to perfection right there. Just love Rick Rosenthal's direction in that scene. I think he nailed it. He really channeled a lot of what Carpenter was able to do with the original in that one scene. And then, of course, you get the badass finale with Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee actually fighting Michael Myers together, which I always really, really liked in this one. Of course, they corner him in the room, and I just thought the whole way they set that up was awesome, didn't you?
Yeah, man. The funny thing is, now I go back and look at it when he has the lighter. Then you go back in the movie, and the cop gives him the lighter early in the movie. Mm-hmm. In the first one, remember, the cop gives him the lighter, he offers him a cigarette.
Yeah.
And then he takes the lighter, and that's how he kills him at the end of the second one. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that. Like they kind of hide in the room, and Pleasance is like, "Take the gun, take it," and she's like, "I don't want to," and he's just like, "Here," and he throws it by her feet. And he's getting ready for Michael to bust in, and Michael's just unstoppable, just banging on this door. He busts through. Loomis goes to shoot, and out of bullets.
No bullets.
Gets stabbed, pushed back, and then you get probably one of my favorite iconic shots in the history of horror, as Michael slowly walks to Jamie Lee, and Jamie Lee goes, "Michael," and you get the head tilt from the original, and he still continues to walk. Michael, stop! 2 shots right to the eyes. And my favorite shot of this entire series is in this movie right here, where Michael kind of pulls his hand back and you see the blood pouring down his eyes. And he covers his eyes and then he just starts swinging for the fences after her. That is classic. That's iconic. It's better than classic because it just goes to show you he will never stop. He will never stop until he gets her. Like, even shot in the eyes, blinded, he's still swinging for the fences. I love that stuff, man. And then I understand. Do you feel that the ending is a little hokey with the gas in the room?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's not terrible, but if you think about it, hospitals have all that shit in there, so it's not like it's not possible. But it's just a little. I don't know.
I feel you completely. Yeah, like it's. I as a kid, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Upon rewatch, sometimes it does seem a little hokey that Michael's falling for the sound and stuff. But at the same time, I thought it was badass. Like, I thoroughly goddamn enjoyed that. And I love he's like Pleasance is trying to tell Jamie Lee to get out of the room without saying it. He's like, like making noises, and I'm just like, that's what someone would really do. They would try not to say it, and then eventually just goes now, and then you get that awesome. It's time, Michael. Lights the. Boom! Just this big old explosion. Jamie Lee goes flying across the goddamn hallway, and Michael comes, walking out of the rubble through the fire. He will not stop until he gets his sister. He will not stop until Jamie Lee is once and for all dead. And he crumbles to his knees, hits the ground. And you see the shot of Jamie just like, she's just like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, the stuff that this bastard went through to try to kill me tonight, right? I think personally, it's one of the best horror movie finales of all time because it really has everything. It has that suspense in the early going with the elevator scene. It has the badass explosion at the end and the characters coming full circle. It's time, Michael, and just seeing how much it took to stop the unstoppable force in Michael Myers. I mean, I get chills every time talking about it. I think this is one of the best horror movies of all time. And of course, before we wrap up, give ratings on this one, the Mr. Sandman at the beginning and the end of this.
Great song.
Dude, I feel like every time I hear Mr. Sandman now, I think of Michael Myers in this movie. It's incredible how they can
same way. Every time I hear that song, I'm like Halloween too.
Right? It's amazing. Isn't it amazing how they can make you take a sweet song like that and make it twisted into where every time I think about this movie, that's the one I think about. Like, it's iconic. I think this movie is a goddamn classic, and I think it's a masterpiece.
I agree completely. It's definitely one of the best sequels of like the four main like horror franchises.
I 100% agree with you. It may be my favorite of the four main horror franchises when it comes to sequels. I think it's a masterpiece. What would your rating be for this one out of 10, buddy?
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10, man.
All right, great. I'm going to go with the perfect score. I love this movie. I'm going to go 10 out of 10. I love this movie.
Yes.
So that's a 9.5 together. If you combine them, that means this is a Hall of Famer right here, baby.
Yeah, go see that shit. Watch it.
Yes, yes. Oh, and anybody that lives on Long Island, they are screening this son of a gun this Saturday in Huntington.
Oh, lucky.
35 millimeter. It's going to be badass, followed by Silent Rage, which is a Chuck Norris movie. So it's double feature. I will be there. I will be eating popcorn, drinking some cherry Coke, watching The Shape kill off some dumbass hospital staff members. Join me if you want, if you live on the island. So that was Halloween 2. Love it. I think it's a masterpiece. So basically what happened after this, would you want to explain what happened in between the process when it comes to 2 and 3?
What do you mean?
Like basically what the direction for the series, like why for the next film they went with.
Well, so originally they were going to make it, Michael Myers was the first movie, and then they were going to go every year it would be called Halloween, but it would be a different story. It wouldn't be Michael Myers.
Yes.
But then I guess because the first one was so successful, they made 2, and then they went off of that and made 3, and then they just went their own way and made Season of the Witch.
Yeah, and the original idea Carpenter had to the studio, he said, I wanted this to be like the Twilight Zone. Every Halloween, we have a different story revolving and surrounding the holiday. And I thought that was a great idea. And this was the one and only shot we had at that. And I think this movie is a Halloween classic too. This is Halloween 3. Season of the Witch, written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who went on to do Fright Night Part 2, the It miniseries from 1990. I think Tommy Lee Wallace is just the coolest guy ever. I don't know about you, man, but I kind of love this one too. I don't know what your thoughts.
I dude. So when I was a kid, like I told you, my uncle brought me up on the Halloween series. He told me never to watch Part 3 because it's so bad. So I only saw Part 3 maybe, I want to say maybe like 10 years ago was the first time I saw it.
Wow.
Yeah, man, isn't that, I avoided it for so long because he's like, Michael Myers is in it. You don't need to see it. It's fucking terrible. Don't watch it. I'm like, fine, I'll skip it. Since you told me that, since you showed me such a great movie, I'll trust your opinion and not see Part 3. But I go back and regret that now.
Yeah. I got to ask, man, what were your first thoughts? Like, were you mad that it was no Michael? Were you happy at how weird, dark, and like anti-children this movie is? Because this is like, this movie hates children, man. Like,
this one has like more to me. Like it's more gory than the rest of the Halloween movies. Like even though the blood's like orange.
Yeah, the robotic blood.
But like when the robots tear that guy's head off, that scene is awesome. That practical effect there was so badass.
Yeah, I love this movie, and like the first thing I always think of is it's just such a creative plot. Basically, you follow Tom Atkins and Stacey Nelkin in this, and they're like, Tom Atkins is like a doctor, and one night this guy comes in.
Worst doctor ever.
Yeah, worst doctor ever, cheating on his wife with like 5 different women. You know, it's different times, ladies and gentlemen. That's back
for sure.
That's back.
Every woman he comes in contact with, he's like, "Oh, I'll see. You want to go out to dinner?"
Yeah, he's asking that lady on the phone. He's like, I need you to stay late and dissect this robot. I'll take you out to dinner, babe. I'm just like, yeah, what? And he's also banging Stacey Nelkin in this, who's like literally like, it looks like 20 plus years younger than him.
For sure. It looks like she's his daughter.
Yeah, and like I love this scene where he's like, where do you want to sleep tonight? And she like derobes. She goes, that's a silly question, doctor. I'm just like, what the hell? Like, is this Skinamax or something? Like, what?
She brought like lingerie on the trip with her. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, like you're into that old school. All right, you know what? Every woman has, and every person, I guess, has their attraction. But I don't know. That was a little crazy. I felt she could have done a little bit better than Tom Atkins. But that's just me. I love the plot of this where they wheel this guy in. He's grabbing a mask and he says, they're going to kill us all. And then later that night, that guy is killed, and the person that kills him sets himself on fire in the car explodes, and you're just like, holy Christ, like what is going on right now? And then you slowly but surely you learn the story of the Silver Shamrock Mask Company and Connell Cochran, who is this like kind of evil mastermind behind these masks. And basically the plan is that all of these masks on Halloween night at is it 9 o'clock? I think.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock, if you watch the commercial, there's a chip in these masks, and if the chip is activated, it will kill all the children that are wearing the mask and any people around them. So that's a pretty dark goddamn story where the plot is basically this guy wants to kill all the children in the world. Like, I don't know about you, man, but that is like, I don't know if that would fly so well today. It didn't fly so well back then.
Definitely could make this movie now. At
Never.
9 o'clock, if your kids are wearing this mask, they're all going to die.
Right? Like, I think that's super dark. And like, I don't know, like, I just love the little jingle in this and Silver Shamrock, right?
It's when I first heard it, I was like, it was stuck in my head for a week. I couldn't get it out of my head.
Dude, right? It's one of those that stays with you, and it's just so damn catchy, but it's so dark at the same time. And I love how Tommy Lee Wallace shows that it is global. It is in Seattle. It is in New York. It is in California. It's in Florida. These masks have circulated worldwide as that, classic. 8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Like, that's badass because it's such a catchy, happy tune, but the result of it is going to be so dark and morbid. And like, I think that's why this movie has gotten such a big cult following over the years when it was hated when it first came out, because there is no Michael Myers in it. It's because it's just so bat crap crazy and it's so dark. Like, why is it so great? And the answer is it just is, man. It just is. Like, I love this damn movie.
It's a good Halloween movie. Like, it's a good movie to watch around Halloween.
Yeah, I would say that this one of all of them has the most probably to do with the holiday itself. Like, the Halloween movies like Halloween 1, Halloween 2 has nothing really to do with the holiday itself. It's basically just a slasher film in a hospital. Whereas this movie, it's about the holiday. Like, there's everything and anything and everything about it. It's about the holiday. And like, I don't know, man, I've kind of loved this movie. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love it.
I watch it every Halloween. Like I said, Tom Atkins he's good in the movie, but if you think about it, he's a complete asshole.
Oh, dude, totally. But for some reason, he's very entertaining to watch run around this whole time.
Oh, he's great.
The one scene that got me in this is when that annoying family that they have in it, and they have them in the testing room, and the son is watching the commercial, and as the chip deactivates, or I guess activates, as the chip is triggered, this kid just slowly, you see him just like start like moving like this, and he just collapses. And you see these snakes and bugs and all this stuff crawl out of his head. And I remember being a kid being like, oh my God, they just killed that kid. Like, what? And then in essence, the father and the mother die too. And like, I was just like, they just killed that family, like on camera. They did not shy away from it. And you get the idea of what is going to happen if this all goes down. And like, I don't know, man, the idea of that, absolute horrifying. I think that's horror at its best because it truly scared me. Like, I think it's truly something that, while it's not the most believable, it's definitely enjoyable,
Yeah, the ending is one of the best endings because you don't know what happens. Do the kids die? What happens?
Yeah, that's I love that it's a cliffhanger ending. Stop it, and then cut to black. And I love it. Leaves it up to you. What happened? Did they turn off the third channel? Did it play? Did all the kids in America die? Who knows? But I think it was a really cool departure from the series. I honestly wish we could have gotten more movies like this. Like, as much as I love Halloween 4, which I think is another classic sequel, I would have liked to have seen another one like this. Like, I think it would have been really cool. Unfortunately, we never got that. Maybe someday, though. Maybe someday there will be a film franchise that tries this again. That tries, a Tales of Halloween direction, but they go with, just a single movie as opposed to an anthology. I think it would be a really cool thing to try.
I hope they do that. That'd be awesome if they did do that.
Yeah. So what would your ratings out of 10 be for this one?
We'll go 7.5.
I'm going to probably meet you there. 7.5 sounds pretty good to me. 7.5 to an 8. I think this movie is really, really enjoyable. Perfect to watch around this time of the year. It's scary. It's unique. It's different. It has a lot to do with the Halloween holiday itself. And I think Tommy Lee Wallace did a great job. This was really the last one that Carpenter had his hands on. And he did the music. He and Alan Howarth did the music for this. I really love it. I think Halloween 3.
If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it.
Highly recommend anyone who has not seen that movie, because don't listen to the haters that say, oh, it's bad because there's no Michael. It's a very good movie on its own. There is no Michael, but I think it's a badass movie.
He's on one of the TVs in the background at one point.
Yes, he is. He has a little cameo in it as in the bar. Yeah, they're in the bar showing the original Halloween, which I would love to go to that bar, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be great. Just sit at the bar and watch Halloween.
Right, right. For not gonna look up, a couple drinks, stuff like that. But so that fast forward to about 6 years later, where Mustafa Akkad said, "You know what? You son of a bitches killed them off. You son of a bitches wanted to have a season of the witch, but now it is the return of Michael Myers. Halloween 4. Um, I would argue this is probably the most underrated one of the entire series. I love Halloween 4. I think Halloween 4 is like right up there with the first two for me. Like I think it's
It's definitely one of the ones I revisit the most. Besides the first two, it's usually 1, 2, and 4 are the ones I've seen the most.
yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, 1, 2, and 4 definitely the top three I've seen, and then probably 5 because I've watched 5 to death as a kid too. I don't have the VHS anymore, but when I did, I had the VHS. Same like this. I don't have it anymore though. I think I gave it back to Hollywood Video before they went out of business. This one I bought.
I have Halloween 4 on VHS. You can't see me, but
Oh, cool. Okay, is he showing it up? My
I have to get it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, go get it. I got 4
It's like
producers here.
it's like an old school copy. If you can see it.
Oh yeah, is it badass? Do you want to? Can you tilt the screen towards me? Oh, dude, that's badass. That's the scene where they have like multiple Michaels.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's like the old school case and everything.
That's pretty fire. Thank you. That is pretty cool. You have the original too, right?
Yes, somewhere over there.
Yeah, I have. This is the only one I have on VHS, but I really, really love Halloween 4. So let's get into Halloween 4. So this is 10 years after the night he came home. It takes place in the year 1988. We're, of course, introduced to horror scream queen legend, one of my favorites of all time, Miss Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, the niece of, oh no, I'm sorry, the niece of Michael Myers, the daughter of Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. I gotta say, one of my favorite final girls of all time. I just love Danielle Harris.
She's definitely one of the best. And you look at her now, and I'm like, is it weird that I think she's like super hot now? When you look at her in like these movies, you're like she's a kid here, and then you look at her now, you're like, oof.
Well, it's incredible because like once you see these movies, like I was a kid, I was probably a little bit older than her when I saw these movies, and then when I saw her grown up, I was like, oh, she's older than me. This is fine. So in Rob Zombie's remake where she gets naked and stuff, I was just like, this is fantastic. Like, God bless you, Mr. Zombie, for giving me those boobies in this movie because I goddamn loved every goddamn second of it. But yeah, man, I honestly think it's incredible how young she started as a final girl, as a scream queen, because that's a lot to ask from an 8-year-old. Like, you have to carry one of the biggest horror movie franchises on your back. You are the lead now. We don't have Jamie Lee anymore, and you're our final girl now. And like, to say that Danielle Harris gives a good performance is just the understatement of the year. She gives one of the best performances of the series, I think, in this movie. She's very vulnerable. She's very sympathetic. There's scenes where these kids in school are just being cruel to her. Like, Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. And they're like,
so messed up.
It's so fucked up. Like, there's a scene where like one of them says to her, he's like, oh, why don't you call your mommy? And then the next kid goes, oh, she can't. Her mommy's dead. I'm just like, God damn. Like, that's you don't say that to somebody. Like, Jesus.
Kids are mean.
Kids are mean, but I don't remember kids being ever that mean. Like,
no, I've never had it that bad.
like anybody being that mean is pretty mean. Like, I was just like, God damn, man, this poor girl's mother is gone, and they're just making fun of her, taunting her. But I think Danielle is great in this, man. I think she just absolutely just grabbed the reins of the series and just took over beautifully. Of course, you're introduced to Ellie Cornell as her like stepsister, and I love Ellie Cornell. I'm a huge Ellie Cornell fan. I really wish she had done more than piece of shit House of the Dead sequel movies. Like, that's all she ever did really after this, which makes me, and Halloween 5, which she's barely in, thanks to Dominique Othen and Gerard, who's a goddamn moron. I just love those two in this. Like, I think Ellie Cornell is sexy, but she's strong. And then Danielle is very vulnerable, but like, it's so cool that he's after the next member of the bloodline. For me, I always thought that was really cool. But what are some of your standout scenes in this one, man?
It's actually on in the background behind me right now as we're talking.
Yes! Hell
yeah. Standout scenes. I love when the Brady fight, when he's fighting Brady. I love that part. That's a great scene.
Oh man, we could set this one up. So they're all like hiding out in this cop's house. The sheriff, Bustar, is the actor, and Michael's picking them off again one by one. He kills his daughter. He kills the one of the other deputies they have there. And soon you see Brady, who's, like in a love triangle with Ellie Cornell's character and the cop's daughter. And he's trying to load up a shotgun. And he's like, "Get up there, Rachel." And Michael is slowly walking up the steps. And I'm just like, oh no, this is not going to end well. This idiot cannot get this shotgun loaded, right? He walks up to Brady, and Brady doesn't get the shot off. He hits him with the gun. Then he hits him with a punch. And then Michael just absolutely just crushes his face in his palm of his hands. Like, that's one of my favorite kills of the whole, like, it's so brutal, man. And just how Brady's trying to be that uber hero. Hell no, man. Like, you're no,
He doesn't even stand a chance.
does not stand a chance. You try to get into a fist fight with Michael Myers, you probably deserve to get killed. Like, that's just my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, I love that one. I actually really liked the opening of this movie, where the two doctors are going to pick up Michael, and you get this really, I think, a really underrated performance from the security guard, who's like, never look them in the eyes, never. And he tells the whole origin, and killed 16 people on Halloween night. Would have killed more. His doctor shot him 6 times. I love that. I love that little, recap. And then Michael's in the ambulance, and then bam, he cleans house in that ambulance, sticks his thumb right in that guy's head. It's like, oh man, like, that's some crazy stuff right there. Just brutal. I love that scene. And that really sets up, I think, a beautiful atmosphere for this movie. Like, right, the opening credits of this movie, awesome. Like, isn't it like, it's like a farm, right?
Yeah, it's a farm. The funny thing is, they don't even play like the Halloween theme. It just says Halloween 4, and that's like a farmhouse, and they just pan around like a farm.
Yeah, and that it's like decorated a little bit, like harvest decorations, and you get the classic big orange text. I just love that. And of course, you have Donald Pleasance returning in this one, who again nails it as Sam Loomis. I know a lot of people will go, "Didn't he die in the last one?" Hell no, you can't kill Loomis, man. The only thing that could kill Loomis is like really dying in real life. Like, that's the only way, man. He'll never kill him off in this series.
No, some of the makeup on him is a little iffy, because some parts it'll look more like he has more scars, and then you'll go back and like the next scene it's less.
Yeah, he healed really quick in between shots, right? I love that though, and I love where he's trying to get to Haddonfield. And there's a little scene where this random guy picks him up. He's like this religious freak. And I love this scene where he gets in the car with Loomis, and he says, "You're hunting it, ain't you?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Damnation, Armageddon. It's always got a face and a name." He goes, "I saw it on your face back there in the dust." He goes, "You're a good pilgrim." And he's like, "Shake it." And then they start singing the beautiful, beautiful.
Like, you want a drink?
Yeah, I love it, man. Like, I love that little side character where he kind of foreshadows Michael Myers again, where in Damnation, Armageddon, End of the World, it's always got a face and a name. And that face and name in this movie, in this franchise, is Michael Myers. And the face is the classic mask, I love that scene. I always thought that was a little scene that nobody ever really mentions, but it always gets me in the mood and in the spirit of this movie in particular. And I don't know. We haven't really talked much about The Mask. What do you think of The Mask in this one?
The Mask, I do not see. Some days I'll like it, and other days I don't. It just looks very shitty. Like it wasn't made well.
Yeah.
If you look at the first one, look at this one, The Mask. It's just not. It doesn't look the same at all. Same with Part 5, as we'll get into. But.
Oh Jesus, dude! The Mask in Part 5 is terrible. Michael looks like a goddamn bird/anteater in Part 5. Like, that's.
Yeah, it's like the neck is like sticking out. It looks weird.
My producer is crying right now. I made him laugh because I said Michael looks like an anteater. None is worse than the mask in H2O though. When they give him a CGI mask, I'd rather Michael.
I don't know how they got away with that.
I don't know either. How lazy can those bastards be? Like, I'd rather Michael look like a bird/anteater as opposed to a goddamn CGI mask.
He's on my shirt, see?
Is he? I can't see your shirt. I don't know.
It's his face on the shirt.
I'm sorry.
No, it's on.
That's okay. No, I'll see it in 2 seconds. So I need them to tilt the. Oh, dude, that's badass though. I got the H2 here.
Is that like the Chrome Skull kind of look? Is that what that is?
Yeah, actually, it is the Chrome Skull kind of look. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I always really liked about this one. Oh, cool. I can see you have the movie on in the background too.
Easy.
This is so badass, dude. Yeah. I just hope we don't get copyrighted. Could you imagine?
Well, I'm blocking most of it, so you really can't even see it.
I'm just there's no way we get copyrighted. And if we did, I'd hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner and then we'd flip him off.
Like back up.
We'd hit him with the Stone Cold promo. Snyder 316 says we just kicked your ass. Oh shit, Stunner. You know, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I agree. I think the mask in this one is kind of weak, but at the same time, I would say that I think the mask in 5 is a lot worse than this. And I really like George P. Wilbur as the Shape. I think he does a really good job as Michael in this.
Yeah, he's the only one that plays him twice. This part 4 and part 6.
Yes. I wouldn't say he's as good as Nick Castle or Dick Warlock, but like I'd say he's right around the James Jude Courtney. I'd say I put those two on the same level, and then I'd say Dick Warlock and Nick Castle are like my favorite side by side. Like Nick Castle's probably the best. Yeah, those 4 collectively are the best Michael Myers. Like Don Shanks, the guy who plays him in Chris, isn't it?
Chris Durand, he's terrible.
Chris Durand's the worst Michael Myers in my opinion. I even think he's worse than Tyler Mane because Tyler Mane was playing the Michael Myers that Rob Zombie wanted. So he casted him. He can't help that he's 7 foot tall. I don't think that was the problem. The problem is with Chris Durand. I think he's the worst by far. Worst look and the worst portrayal of that character. And Brad Lorre sucks too.
He's terrible.
Yeah, those two back to back are like terrible. Like I can't even watch those two because they're so bad. They just don't do any justice to that character. But I compared to them, I think George P. Wilbur is great. And yeah, like there's a lot of scenes in this I really like. Like I love the scene where they're on the roof towards the end, and Michael is just doing his best to try to stab Ellie Cornell, and he's stabbing the roof, and I love that, man. That's so goddamn well done.
Apparently, there was supposed to be there was some kind of budget restriction. They were supposed to have like fire around the house and all types of other shit, but they couldn't afford to do it.
I never knew that. So
that was. I think that rooftop scene was supposed to be the end, but there was supposed to be like a fire around it, and they were supposed to like have like a battle, but they couldn't afford to do that.
I never ever knew that. See, this is why we have the biggest Halloween fan on here to tell us these things, because and I'm a mark, and I never knew that.
No, I wish that would have made the movie. That would have been fucking awesome.
Dude, 100%. That's amazing to hear. Like that's like the knife fight we never got to see between Michael and Laurie, like in the new Halloween. Like I want to see that. Like, and they shot that, so they
did shoot and they cut it out.
They had that somewhere. Like, just put that on YouTube so I can watch that. I want to see what it would have been like. That would have been bad.
I don't know why it wasn't. It should have been on the DVD or the Blu-ray when they released it, but they didn't put it on.
Definitely. That would have been my number 1 deleted scene, dude. I don't get why, but yeah, I love that scene on the roof. I think it's awesome. And then I always really liked the ending, like car chase in this, where I like it's not a car chase, but these kind of hick people in the town. They rebel against Michael because he basically murders the entire police station, which is very casually addressed in this movie. I love it. Like they're just like, oh, he killed everybody in the station. Like, let's go with these hillbillies that have been drinking all night. They're our best line of defense, which I love. I think it's brilliant. And they're in this pickup truck. It's Ellie Cornell, Danielle Harris, this lead hick dude, and then a bunch of the guys in the back. And they're driving away from Haddonfield. And you're like, okay, they survived the night, all this stuff. Next thing you know, Michael Myers, the Shape himself, is underneath this goddamn truck. He gets to and he just starts cleaning house like it's a battle royale or something. I love that scene, man. I don't know about you, but what do you think about that scene?
It's definitely one of the best scenes in the movie. Just the way he kills the guy. He just takes the one guy and just throws him off the side of the truck, and then he smashes through the window and just rips the guy's neck out. That shit was awesome.
Oh my God, yeah, like you could see the terror on his face. He's like, "Am I hearing anything?" And then right through the window, he's like, "Rah!" And he rips this guy. I remember being a kid being like, "Holy shit!" Like, he ripped that man's face out, and he throws him out of the car. And then Ellie Cornell, being the badass heroine that she is. Shout out to Ellie Cornell. I fucking love you, Ellie Cornell. Okay, I'm a mark for you. I can't help it. I forever will love Ellie. And Ellie gets into the driver's seat, and Michael's grabbing at her, and she's still driving, and she's just like fighting him off. And then all of a sudden, slams on that brake. Michael goes flying, and then you just see the stare down. Michael gets up, unfazed, unselling. Oh shit! I don't know. What was that in here? Was that you? Can you still hear me? Uh-oh. What happened? He frozen? Uh-oh. He's frozen. Okay, he froze for a second. I'll continue on with my banter with this. Um, Basically you have Michael flies off the car and he stares them down, and Ellie kind of stares him down and just goes, "Die, you son of a bitch!" Hits that gas pedal, runs him over, man. He goes flying like 50 yards. It's just incredible. I just absolutely love that scene. I think it's one of the best, like, badass final girl versus a villain act. And it's just so cool how it's all set up. I think it's really, really well done finale. And then, of course, the cops are all there. The cavalry arrives and they shoot Michael Myers all the hell. He falls down a well and they drop a stick of dynamite. Like, they aren't taking any chances anymore. They want this guy gone. And I just really, really love that about this movie. I thought it was really, really well done. And yeah, I think Halloween 4 is a masterpiece. Like, I really, really love Halloween 4. I think it's like the last classic sequel that, like, I would say is like, you know, a classic. Like 5 isn't a classic, on and on. I enjoy 5 and 6, but like they're not classics like this movie is. But yeah, I love Halloween 4. Have we had a like is Ryan back? Do you want to send him the link again? Just do copy to clipboard and then go to Katie Snyder, the Facebook thing, and then message her. Yeah, we'll figure this out, Ryan. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Let me shoot him a text. Sorry for my people listening. This is this was not planned. I feel really bad here. Oh, is he back? Oh, he's not back? Okay. His internet went out. He should be back. Okay. Okay, I'm just telling him. He said his internet went out to everybody. I don't know how well y'all could see that. Um, his internet went out, so he'll be back. I could continue on for a little bit while he fixes that. I'll tell him just get it up as soon as you can. This has been a great episode so far, so I feel really bad that this happened. But we'll be back. He'll be back. But yeah, man, I love Halloween 4. I think it's an absolute perfect sequel. Pleasance is great in it. Danielle Harris is great in this. Ellie Cornell is great in this. I would say it's the last classic Halloween film. It's the last Halloween film that I go back to, and I literally just get chills every time I see Michael. I think it's really well done. I think it has a great body count. I think it's got great characters. I think it's got really, really good atmosphere again, directed by what is his name? I'm sorry. I'm blanking on his damn name. It's not Dominic. Dominic O'Thin Gerard is part 5. Dwight H. Little, who really didn't go on to do all that much, unfortunately, but I think he was awesome. Written by Alan B. McElroy, who actually, I believe this movie, the writers were going on strike when this movie came out. So this was like submitted right before the strike happened. So had that happened, we would have been delayed another year or so for Halloween 4, but gladly that didn't happen. And if I had to rate this one out of 10, I'd honestly probably go with like an 8.5 out of 10. I love Halloween 4. I think it's a really, really good movie. I love it, watched it a lot, and give it the highest of recommendations. We'll get Ryan's rating when he gets back on here, and like that. But that moves us on to a movie that was rushed into production, a movie from 1989. Ryan says he's coming back now. Great. I'll say sent you the link. Okay. Okay, so I sent him the link, so we're all set there. But in 1989, Michael Myers wanted revenge, baby. This is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, one of the movies in the series that is probably the most hated. A lot of people do not enjoy this one, and I could totally see why. My messages are blowing up. I don't know who's messaging me. Who's messaging me? Is it Ryan? Is it Katie? Who is it? Horror Clan? Wolfpack? What is it? What happened? Oh shit, what's going on? Keep going. What? Tell me who's messaging me. Goddamn, who is it? Oh god. Oh, it's the Autumn Boys. Oh shit. Oh shit. The Autumn Boys, you just made a cameo on Grande's Graveyard, you stupid silly bastards. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so the cat's out of the bag. The Autumn Boys have made, once they see this, they are going to shit their pants because my producers looked at me like I was crazy. But I swear to you, I am just a little bit crazy. Um I was just, I know you know, Joe. But yeah, let me get into Halloween 5 because I know we only have like 10, 15 minutes or so left here. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. See, this one is one in the series that everybody and their mother really hates. And I can totally see why. It's definitely a step down from the first four. But I will say that I get more enjoyment out of this one, even more enjoyment out of this one than probably anything that follows it. Like this and 6, I enjoy, and then that's pretty much it. Like H2O, Resurrection, the remake, Halloween 2 from 2009, terrible, and the new one, like kind of just on the rest of the series. This is one of those ones though that I do watch it a lot. I do go back and watch it a lot. It basically takes place right when Danielle Harris, it's like a year later. She's now a mute in an asylum, which I thought was a really bad direction to take. For some reason, this hermit man like nurses Michael Myers back to health for a year after Halloween 4. And then Halloween night arrives. Michael wakes up and he basically kills the hermit man with the parakeet. Very random, very weird. But for some reason, I enjoy it. You have Ellie Cornell returning in this. I love the line where she says to Loomis, she goes, "When are they going to realize that she's
I'm
not
back.
him?" Oh, Ryan's back. Okay, great, great. Glad to see you're back. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
My internet went out.
That happens, man. I'm sorry that all went down. I was like, oh shit. Like, I hope he comes back here.
Don't get me started, man. It's been happening for like 2 weeks now. I'm on the phone with Comcast every other fucking day. It's very frustrating. Yeah, it's
all right. Well, screw the people at Comcast. They're a bunch of bronies. We're gonna hit them with Stone Cold Stunner, flip them off, and then pour beer on their face.
yeah. Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on to Halloween 5, but do you want to give your rating for 4 quick?
4? Oof. I want to say 9.5 out of 10.
Nice. Okay, so then we come in averaging at about a 9. So it's another Hall of Famer. We love
Nice.
Halloween 4. Excellent entry to the series. I'm now on to 5. I've been explaining a little bit of the plot and whatnot, about mute Danielle Harris, about Ellie Cornell. I'm just about to mention, for some goddamn reason, Dominique Othin and Gerard decided, let's kill off one of the best characters from the previous movie. And they kill off Ellie Cornell really early on in this. Really bad move for numerous reasons. Reason number one, you replaced her with an annoying bitch in Wendy Kaplan.
You don't love Tina?
Dude, Tina's terrible. That's a terrible.
She's terrible.
She was apparently the rumor is she was sucking Nick Taro's dick at the time this movie came out, and that's why she got the job.
Oh, that's not a shocker then.
Because she never acted much after this. So I'm assuming that they were like, you're annoying. And when you're not, with someone who's talented and in the horror film business, we're not going to give you a role. So I don't know if we can blame Nicotero, the director. I think we can blame the director because he's a fucking moron, in my opinion. Even though I do get enjoyment out of this movie. Like, I know a lot of people despise this to no end, but I don't know. I can always watch it. It's not like H2O or Resurrection or Halloween 2 from 2009 where I fucking just sit there and I'm just like, I can't get through this.
Fall asleep for that.
This is a very easy movie to watch. Yeah, you fell asleep the other night watching Halloween. I'm texting him. The next thing is out like a light. That movie's the cure for insomnia, right? It's The White Horse.
Hey, man, I fell asleep right on my couch and I woke up. I'm like, oh, it's 12:30 shit.
The White Horse equals the equivalent to NyQuil. It's fucking right to sleep.
If you need to go to sleep, put it on.
100%. Yeah. And but there are some things in this movie I really do enjoy. I think it's the last Halloween movie to have that classic look to it, like the look of Haddonfield and the 80s look. Like, it's the last one to look like the rest. Because once you change companies, once you go to the Curse of Michael Myers, you really have a lot different of a look and feel to the series. But this movie, I think, has that feel there. And I do think there are some pretty decent kills in this one. There's the guy, Mike, who's obsessed with his car, and Michael kills him with a, like, I don't know what you'd call that thing, like a rake.
Yeah, where did he even get it from? It looks like something on like a farm or something.
Yeah, it looks like a gardening tool. And basically he scratches up the guy's car and then he's like, all right, pal, trick or treat. And he grabs him by the throat and it just like kind of shows him what he's about to kill him with. Wham! I love that scene. And you get to see all of it. Phenomenal effects. I'm not positive. I'm guessing Nicotero had something to do with the effects. If he got his girlfriend the job, I'm assuming he was on,
Yeah, see, I don't even, to be honest, I don't know, but
I don't know either, but I would assume if he got her the job, he was on set. Like, that would make sense if he wasn't on set. But I really, really enjoy that. I think that's an awesome kill. I really always enjoyed the scene in the barn with Tamara Glynn and the boyfriend, and they're dressed as like the devil and stuff. And he's having sex with her, and next thing you know, he gets raked right through the back, big old rake, and you see it go through his chest while he's having sex with her.
Yes.
I was always just like, holy Christ, like Michael wasn't waiting, and he didn't do the shish kebab what Jason did in part 2. He decided, he was like, screw it, I'm going to kill them individually. Kills him with that, and then kills her with a scythe, which I always thought, damn, that's badass. Goes right across the chest with the scythe. Always thought that was an incredible kill. I don't know. I enjoy the kills in this one. I know you're definitely gonna be a little bit more down on this one. This is bottom 3 of the series for you, I believe. You just watched this one recently, but what are your thoughts on this one, man?
So the funny thing is, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are one of the I watch those the most.
Me
5
too.
I watch the least out of those, but it's one that I always strangely go back and watch more often than like 6 or H2O or Resurrection or any of those ones.
And I think the reason for that is the atmosphere. Like,
it reminds me more of like a Halloween movie than 6, 7, and 8 do.
Yeah, like 7 and 8 are just polished, like beyond polished. Like the cool thing with the Curse of Michael Myers is it does go into the mythos of the Thorn Cult. It does go into the holiday a little bit with that old lady, and huge bonfires were lit and they warded off the boogeyman. Like I love that shit in 6. But this is definitely the last one with the feel of the rest of the series, and that's, I think, the reason why it's so easy to watch. Quick question for you, Miranda: is Cheyenne coming in today? She's not coming in today. Can I get like 10 more minutes or so? Okay, good looks. Miranda's going to give us 10 more minutes so we can keep talking, because I wanted to at least get through 6. I don't know, man. I just enjoy this movie. I always really liked the finale to this in the old school Myers house.
Yeah, the laundry chute. It's awesome.
Dude, right? Like, you basically, the setup is Danielle Harris is she's back in the house. It's basically after all this crap has gone down. There's some bad stuff in this too. All right, before we get into the good finale,
he's where he hangs the cop.
yes, that's awesome. Let's talk about some of the bad things in this though. I think Loomis is very, very mean and cold spirited in this movie, don't you think?
Oh, he's one of the meanest. This is one of his meanest in the series. He's mean as shit to like everyone.
Yeah, he's just like had it up to here. Like he's like, dude, this is Halloween 5 and I'm still here, and I survived a burning. I survived being thrown out of a fucking school building in part 4. I'm still here, and stabbed in part 2. All these things. I'm still here, and this bastard's still not dead, So he's in this. And no offense to people that stutter. I'm not trying to bash anybody that stutters, but there is an annoying stuttering kid in this movie. And it is ridiculously irritating, man. I don't know about how you feel, but I literally can't get through it at times.
No, yeah, he's pretty annoying, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and he's like trying to get with Danielle Harris. I'm just like, dude, like get away from her. Like that's horror royalty, dude. Like she's gonna grow up to be hot. Like you are not, like you stink, dude. Like I thought that character sucked. And I will say that I think some of the characters are a little bit weaker. There are some technical things about this movie that stinks too. Like there's a scene where you meet all the characters that Michael will kill, and they're like one of them's working at like an alcohol store, and he comes out, and you could see literally the words they're saying doesn't match their mouths. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
It happens in multiple parts. When she's in the car with Michael, when they're about when she wants cigarettes, and she says something, and they show her mouth moving and the words, and it's not even close. I'm like, how did I catch that? And you motherfuckers didn't see it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's really, really poor redubbing, and it's an American film, so they have no excuse. Like an Italian film, it's shot in Italian. It's understandable to see bad dubbing. In an American film, in a big budget studio film like this, I don't see how the hell they let that go. But that goes to tell you, the big problem that is, that plagues this movie. It's Halloween 5. It's the director.
And the music, when the cops are around, that bumbling music they play.
Oh my God. And
that's one of the worst things of that movie.
It's horrible, man. And like the cop, the director, his claim is, oh, well, I wanted to pay homage to Last House on the Left. Because if you remember Last House on the Left, they have bumbling cops. But adding clown music, dude, like
it's so stupid.
What? Like the first time I saw that, I was just like, wow, this director is an idiot. He also went on to direct another piece of shit called Omen 4, The Awakening, with Damien's daughter.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a huge piece of shit, dude. Don't see it. It's really bad. But yeah, I hate that movie with a passion. That one stinks. But this one, I don't know. I definitely, for all of the bad things, I do think there's some good stuff. I like the scenes where Michael's trying to run Jamie over in the car and she's running through the fields. I think that's really, really good. Apparently, they did not use a stunt double. Like they just had him drive after her, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought it was cool having him drive after her. And then he crashes and you're like, you hear the horn and you're like, oh man, it's over. And then the horn goes off and the Danielle Harris again just sells it with her eyes. She's like, oh shit, like he's about to get out of this car and try to kill my ass, man.
That's when he kills Tina, thank God.
Yes, that is when you finally get rid of Tina, who's the most annoying final girl or helper of a final girl in this series.
She even dies annoying. She's just like, oh, I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, yo, you need to shut up. Like this lady is the worst, man. And yeah, I love that. I like that. And then, but getting into the stuff that I really do like in this movie, and probably the reason I do go back and rewatch it so much, is the finale. I think the finale is really good. Danielle Harris and all the cops are stationed around the house, and Donald Pleasance has these great lines where he goes, you want her dead because she could stop the rage, Michael, which, how do you feel that has aged, man? Like, do you think that the whole element where she can stop the rage and she makes him cry at a point, do you like that, hate that?
Not right. I don't like it because why is he crying? Like, when has he ever had any emotion before? So why show it now?
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. Like in a sense of the original, I think it's a blasphemy scene. Like I really do, because Michael was always just an object, just a force of evil. Whereas with part 2, you introduce the brother sister element. Then part 4, it's the niece versus uncle element. And then this movie, it's like the reason he's wanted to kill his bloodline is because they can stop the rage within him. They could stop the evil force within him. And like, I'll be honest, man, the first time I saw it, I thought that's a cool direction to take this. Why not try it? Upon thinking about it, I know what you mean completely. It is bad. Like, I'm not going to try to defend it. It is bad. But for some reason, I don't know. Like, I have an easier time with that than some other series. Like, when Freddy became like the Elm Street 5, 6, I can watch this over that movie. Like, Jason.
I love 6, part 6.
Oh yeah, I know you love Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's Dead.
You also love Final Friday. You also love Jason Goes to Hell.
I love all the bad ones.
Yeah, but you do love the good ones too. We agree most of the time, but I will say that, like, for some reason, I can watch Halloween 5 over Elm Street 5. I can watch it over a lot of the later sequels. I'll watch it over Jason Takes Manhattan.
What about Jason? Will you watch Jason 5 over that?
I would watch Friday 13 Part 5 over this. Yeah,
I knew you would.
I'm a mark for Friday 13 Part 5. I love that goddamn movie. That's boobs, blood, and mayhem dialed up to 20. I love that movie. That's a classic. But yeah, this movie, I love the finale. I like the scenes where she's in the laundry chute and Michael's just stabbing, going to town, trying to get her. And there's a point where she steps on his knife to get to the top latch and crawls up. Like,
yeah, he actually helps her in the end, if you think about it.
Yeah, like that's a classic final girl thing. Like, yeah, you think you're gonna try to stab me? I'm using this as a step stool, bitch. And she gets to the top, and of course there is the scene where he cries, and a lot of people, like, they check out. They think that's the stupidest thing ever. I understand, I get it, but like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me like some other directions of other series took. Like, it doesn't bother me like some other series, like I said before. But I love this movie. I think it has some fun parts to it. I definitely go back and watch it a lot. The ending is a little strange, where they introduce this character with the steel toe boots. And
he's on my shirt, actually.
Oh, is he? I can't see.
Yeah.
That's badass.
It's like in the corner. You can barely see it unless I get real close. Maybe you'll see it if I get real close. See him?
Yeah, I see it a lot better now. Yeah. That's badass. That's a really cool shirt, by the way. Shout out to Fright Rags. They're the best.
Yeah, dude, they got some cool shit.
Yeah, I love that the poster design too, like this classic. I definitely want to get this poster, like the one sheet poster, and have it signed by Danielle Harris someday. That's definitely a prized possession for me to get that poster. And I would probably get the shirt with the poster on it. They introduced the Thorn cult in this, but they don't explain it until the next film. But the man in steel toe boots, of course, he breaks Michael Myers out of prison, shoots up the whole police station, and we see Jamie, and she goes, "No," as the credits roll. And that was really the end of the original classic Halloween movies. And then that's when Dimension bought the series, and you out onto Halloween 6. But honestly, man, of these first 5, it is the weakest. I definitely agree with you, it's the weakest. But I will say that I think it has some merit. I think there's a reason I go back and rewatch it. I think it's got a good atmosphere, got some good kills, has a really fun badass finale in the old school Myers house. Of course, it's fun to see Danielle Harris battle the Shape. Like, I know she's a mute, which is stupid. I know this director is a moron, decided to kill off Ellie Cornell because he has 0 brain cells. And I know Wendy Kaplan is one of the most annoying people in the history of movies. But for every negative, I think there's some positives. And I definitely go back and rewatch this one more than anything post it. Like,
yeah, man, it's one of those ones where it has shitty parts in it, but it also has really good parts.
yeah.
So it's always one that I'll go, like I said, I'll go back and watch it, even though I say I hate it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that will just be like, oh my God, it's the worst. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I could watch this over Busta Rhymes kicking Michael Myers' ass with Kung Fu any day.
Terrible.
That's just me, though. That was a really bad direction to take the series in. But my producer, are you laughing at the Busta Rhymes thing? Yeah, that happens, dude. There's a point where Paul Rudd kicks Michael Myers' ass, dude. And that's the next one we'll talk about. But yeah, we have what do we have? Like 4 minutes to go here. We could quickly give our thoughts about Halloween 6, but Ryan, if you're down, we'll definitely continue this someday. Not probably on here, but we can do it on your time, like whatever's good for you. If I'm off, if you're off, we could do this live from our houses. This would be fine.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
Okay, great. So we'll talk a little bit about this one before we sign off for today. And this is when the series was sold to Dimension. This is when the series, a lot of people say that this one is kind of where the series started to lose its luster. But in my opinion, this is the last one that I really, really enjoy to the upteenth degree. Like, this is the last one. Oh, we didn't do ratings for 5. I'm sorry. Let's just do ratings for 5 really quick. What would you give 5 out of 10?
This is tough. I'm going to say 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay. I'm going to go in a little bit higher. I'm going to go with a 7. I definitely rewatch this one a lot more. It's probably like overall 4 out of 10, but for some reason, I rewatch it a lot. So I definitely, for some reason, I always go back and watch it. So the average together, we give that one like a 6.5. It's definitely worth watching, I think. But they sold the series to Dimension here with Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and a lot of people hate this movie. Peace out, Miranda. Thank you for the posters. Yeah, I honestly really enjoy this one too. I like this one a lot. It kind of has a grungy Michael Myers feel, and this is like before Scream, stuff like that. So it doesn't feel like a Scream ripoff or anything like that. And I don't know. I always really like this one. Paul Rudd. You've got Daniel Farron's writing the script, and there's a whole debate on this that we can get into. Theatrical cut and the producer's cut. I have the theatrical cut here. I don't own the producer's cut, but I've heard a lot of people prefer that as opposed to this. Which side of that fence are you on, man?
It's tough for me, man, but I'm gonna go with the theatrical cut just because I've seen it more. The producer's cut I've maybe seen probably 5 times now because I just bought it last year on Blu-ray. It came out and I bought it. Yeah. But the only thing better about the producer's one is they show more about the Thorn thing and the background and all that stuff. But I'm still gonna go with theatrical over it. This is actually the Halloween 6 is the first one I saw in theaters.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was only 10, but I saw it.
That is beyond cool.
My dad took me. It was crazy.
That is, dude, I'm so jealous because I wasn't even alive, so I would not have even. It stinks. Like, there's so many good horror movies that I wasn't even alive to see be released in the theaters, and I don't know. I'm kind of agreement with you. I think the theatrical cut is better. The producer's cut, what it does, it explains more, like you said. It definitely goes in depth more with the Thorn cult and stuff like that. And I do enjoy that they go there. I've listened to interviews with Dan Farrens, who seems like the coolest guy ever. I really like him. He's a big fan of the series. So I always give props there. I think he really did love this series, and I think he really did try to make sense out of it. It's very rare that you see Cheyenne's here. Oh my God, dude, that is a killer shirt. Cheyenne shirt's killer. Come in here, Cheyenne. Show Ryan your shirt. Cheyenne, come here. Come in here. Show Ryan your shirt. You gotta see this. This is badass. This is one of the coolest shirts ever. While we have a minute to go, yo, Cheyenne, it's right here.
What's up?
Scary movie.
Nice.
How
That's awesome.
Is that? I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, yo, not expecting that, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, usually when they change companies like this, the movies, they go far away from what the previous movie did, but this movie tried to make sense out of it, and I always kind of appreciated that for this. I don't know if you have or not, but
no, I like it, man. I always look at the series as 4 different parts. 1 and 2 is one movie, and then you got 4 and 5, and then you got 4, 5, and 6 kind of go together, I guess you would say, and then you have 7, which is terrible, and 8.
Yeah.
And then you got the remake, which goes off of part 1.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think that's the beauty of this series. Like it is in parts. Like you have the original, I go the original trilogy. Like I even throw Halloween 3 in there because it's the last one I think done by Universal. And then you have 4, 5, and 6, which is like the Thorn cult movies, and then H2O and Resurrection go together, and then the rest, like the remakes, and then the new one will have a new trilogy coming soon. So there's always that. And yeah, that's what I always really liked about the franchise as a whole. There's little parts of it, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, I kind of really enjoy this movie. I think it's definitely has its moments of gore. I really like Paul Rudd as in it, returning as the Tommy. What is it, Tommy?
Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle. I almost said Tommy Jarvis. I was
So you're getting them mixed up.
it's easy to mix up, man. It really.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it can be very easy to mix up. Yeah, we only have a couple minutes to go here, though. Unfortunately, Cheyenne's actually here to come in for her show. So we're unfortunately going to have to cut it here. Everyone listening, and Ryan, I'm sorry, but they only give me so much time here.
It's all good, man.
Mad time. But dude, we'll definitely have you on. We'll finish talking about this sucker. Whenever you're free, man. If you're free during the weekend at night, if you're free one night during the week or early during the day, just let me know. Maybe we could figure something out. And
man, let me know. I have so Halloween. I have off on Halloween and that Friday, so those are 2 days I'm free.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll figure it out for sure. We'll go from there. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, man.
We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
Dude, anytime. Long live the shape. Norman, just hit end broadcast when you can. Peace out to all my followers, listeners, subscribers. We love you, and we'll be back with part 2, and I'll be back next week with more Graveyard. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Okay.